The biggest mistake cruisers make at CocoCay happens before they even step off the ship, and it can cost them hours of their port day. See, this island is massive, over 140 acres, and if you don't have at least a little bit of a plan, you could waste half your day wandering around in the heat trying to figure out what to do and where to go. I've seen people backtrack across the entire island because they didn't understand how the zones work. But I'm gonna give you a strategy that'll maximize every beautiful minute of your day at CocoCay, including which zone to hit first, which food spots to skip, and the one area that's so remote, most cruisers never even find it. So let's talk about what CocoCay is, because actually understanding the layout is the first step to avoiding that planning disaster. Perfect Day at CocoCay is Royal Caribbean's award-winning private island in the Bahamas, and honestly, it's built to be the ultimate beach day experience. Hi, I'm Melissa, a university professor who loves to cruise and who loves to talk ships, so let's get right into everything Perfect Day at CocoCay. Now, Royal Caribbean markets this place as a full-on tropical playground, and that's actually, I think, a pretty accurate description of it. There are multiple theme parks, there is a massive water park, they have a huge freshwater pool, there are private beach clubs, and there's even a helium balloon ride, well, when it runs, but we'll talk about that. The whole destination was completely reimagined back in 2019 as part of a $250 million overhaul. Now, Royal designed it to compete directly with other cruise line private destinations, and Carnival's new Celebration Key seems to be Carnival's answer to that, as Celebration Key looks, let's just say, quite familiar and very much like Perfect Day at CocoCay. Now, Perfect Day at CocoCay, it's generally loved by cruisers, me included, but it does sometimes get a little bit of criticism for theme parkification of the cruise line private island experience. Some people prefer that sleepy, toes in the sand vibe, more rustic kind of just sand and loungers kind of aesthetic that you get at places like Half Moon Cay. Well, Perfect Day at CocoCay does have those spots, but it is a little bit like a private island theme park. It is. Now, although it is commonly marketed as a private island, CocoCay is officially known as Little Stirrup Cay, and it is part of the Berry Islands. And a quick note on pronunciation, C-A-Y and C-A-Y-S are generally pronounced Key, and Perfect Day kind of bugs me because people already in cruise world mispronounce Key all of the time, but Perfect Day at CocoCay doesn't quite have the flow of Perfect Day at CocoCay. So for me, I always pronounce C-A-Y and C-A-Y-S as Key, with this one exception. Now let's talk about what makes CocoCay different from other ports like Freeport or Nassau. This is a property that's fully controlled by Royal Caribbean. Now, the good part of this means there aren't those pushy vendors, there aren't outside taxis, you don't have to get off and wander around and figure out where you're gonna go, what you're gonna do. You don't have to arrange third-party excursions. You don't have to arrange any excursions at all. Everything is handled for you. And another big perk, it's not a tender port. It is a true walk off the ship. You're right on the pier, you're there. Now, there is a longish pier. It'll take you a little bit to get down it, but the benefit of that pier is that it allows for direct docking. So you don't have to tender, and if you're new to cruising, that means you get on a little smaller boat because the ship has to dock way out to sea, and you take these little boats in. It's slow, it's tedious. I personally hate the tendering process. Now, Royal Caribbean sometimes docks up to 2 ships here at once, which can mean crowds. It can mean more than 10,000 people on the island during peak days and when they have these Goliaths there, like Star of the Seas and Icon of the Seas. Now, crowd levels can vary widely depending on your sailing, depending on 1 or 2 ships being docked and which ships are docked. The layout of CocoCay is massive, so thankfully, even when it is really crowded, there's lots of place to spread around, and Royal Caribbean provides a complimentary shuttle that does run in a continuous loop across the island, which helps you access different areas that we're going to talk about. These include places like Chill Island, Oasis Lagoon, the Thrill Water Park, and the Coco Beach Club. Signage here is clear. It's pretty tough to get lost. Walkways are paved, so it's easy to navigate for cruisers on scooters or those that have mobility limitations or small kids. And it's really nicely designed. I think when the Royal Caribbean designers put this together, they really did think about the logistics and the ease of getting around, and I really appreciate that. Now, CocoCay, think of this as kind of an extension of the ship. It's great because your SeaPass card, and that's your ship card that also works as your stateroom key, and you use it on the ship to charge everything. It is basically the same at CocoCay. It's your key to everything. If you want to buy food, if you want to buy a drink and you don't have the drink package, anything that you basically need to charge, it will go on your SeaPass card, you'll scan it, and it will just simply go to your onboard account. You'll also want to bring towels from the ship because while there are towel stations at CocoCay, those are meant for towel exchanges. So if you have a nasty, heavy, soggy, wet, sandy towel and you want to exchange it for a nice, fresh, fluffy, clean one, you can, but you need to bring them from the ship. Now, this is not, again, that sleepy, quiet, casual retreat like Half Moon Cay or some other private islands. This is high energy, especially in certain places. It is heavily developed, hence the theme parkification criticism, and it is designed to handle the thousands of guests that come here at one time. Now, for me, that trade-off is worth it, especially considering how much is actually included here without having to spend a dime. And this is one thing I really appreciate about CocoCay. A lot of other cruise lines, like Carnival, Celebration Key, nickel and dime you to death. That is not the case here at CocoCay, but in a minute I'm going to tell you what's included and what is not. Now let's talk about what this island actually is, how you get on and off, because this is where that planning strategy is going to really start to matter. As I mentioned, this is a direct to dock. You get off, you're on the pier. As I mentioned, it's a long pier. It will take you 5 to 8 minutes, but there is a tram available if you need it to take you to the entrance of CocoCay and to take you around. And because it is a private property, it is fully fenced, it is secured, it is only accessible to Royal Caribbean cruisers, although it is also used by Celebrity Cruise Line, which is owned by the same parent company. The layout here is intentionally designed. As I mentioned, it's beautifully laid out. It's easy to navigate. It's designed kind of on a radial system with loops and branching pathways and kind of the central point that we'll talk about in a moment. But due to the scale, if you do decide you want to spend your day at one of these farther flung locations or zones, you're probably going to want to take the tram because it can be a long walk in the hot Bahamian heat. These trams do run frequently, but there can still be sometimes a little bit of a wait, especially during peak times. Now, here's the part that overwhelms most people when they step off the ship onto that pier. CocoCay, it is huge, and with so many options, it can feel impossible. You don't know where to go. I remember the first time I went, I didn't even understand that there were different zones, so I'm like, okay, it's an island, I want to go to the beach. I got off the ship and I just kind of like moseyed. And the very first beach that I found, which I'll tell you about in a minute, there's one that's easily accessible, but it gets crowded. I just kind of camped out there for the day, and it was a lovely day, but I wish I knew then what I know now, that there are other zones that I probably would have enjoyed more. It's more of a fit for me. So that's why it's important to do a little bit of planning. So the things that you'll need to ask yourself if you're visiting CocoCay are, do you want to spend your day on the beach, or do you want a pool day? Do you want a turn up party kind of vibe, or do you want a leave me alone, I want to read a book and quietly listen to the crashing ocean waves? Do you want family friendly? Do you want adults only? Do you want the basic included food? Do you want a more bougie experience? Do you want an adventurous water park experience? Or maybe you want a little bit of all these things or something in between. But by looking at these zones ahead of time and deciding ahead of time what it is that you want for your day at CocoCay, it's going to save you a lot of time from wandering around, and it's going to save you from picking the wrong zone when maybe there are others that you would enjoy as much. Now, the great thing about CocoCay, as I mentioned, unlike other cruise line private islands, everything here, mostly everything, is actually included. There are only a few things that require paid admission. That includes the Thrill Water Park, the Coco Beach Club, which I just visited, and I'll tell you all about my experience in a minute, and Hideaway Beach, which is the adults only zone. Everything else is included in your cruise fare, and there is in the free zones also the option to rent cabanas or private day beds if you want more comfort and privacy. Now, your options here are these different zones. There's Oasis Lagoon, which is kind of the party pool. Chill Island, you can probably tell by the name, is the chill, relaxing beach. Breezy Bay at Chill Island is a quieter subsection that has some day beds for rent. Coco Beach Club, which is that paid spot that I now am spoiled on. There's an infinity pool, so you get pool and beach access. The food is excellent, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. There's Hideaway Beach. This is that adults only area, and unless you rent kind of one of those private cabanas, it is a little bit of a party zone with music, swim up bars, lots of people drinking, having fun. There's also Thrill Water Park, which is the paid adventure zone. So when you see pictures of CocoCay, you see these big water parks, that's Thrill Water Park. But there's also South Beach, which is the active beach. Harbor Beach, the easy access beach. That's where I went on my first visit when I didn't know any better. It was close, it was easy, it was the first beach I saw, so that's where I went. And Cove Beach, which is the secluded, off the beaten path, rustic beach. And there is also another zone, it's called Seaside Point. I'm not gonna talk about that though, because it's used mostly for weddings and private events. Now, once you're on the island, again, signage is super clear, it's easy to figure out where you're gonna go. There are lots of Royal Caribbean staff right there helping you navigate, point out, and do wayfaring, tell you where to go. And that's really nice. So basically put some consideration into where you wanna go. Now, before I dive into each zone specifically, let me give you some of my top tips about CocoCay that that will save you time and frustration. First, review the map before you go. While there are plenty of signs, there's lots of staff, just kind of getting the lay of the land by looking at that map is really helpful. And Royal Caribbean puts out a really great perfect day at CocoCay map. It's listed in my written port guide, which I have it down below. So take a look at that and just kind of get your bearings and understanding what is where. Also, in addition to figuring out what zone you want to spend your day in, think a little bit about where you're going to want to eat lunch. Because the great thing about perfect day at CocoCay is that almost all of the food is included and the food's pretty good. When it comes to food strategy, it is all you can eat, so you don't have to think about it too much like you do at Carnival Celebration Key, where you get one card swipe for one meal and that's it. If you pick something at perfect day, you don't like it, that's okay, just go get something else. But you probably do want to think about where the food options are and just kind of coordinate that and think about that in advance a little bit. When it comes to food strategy, Skipper's Grill and Chill Grill, they both get very crowded at peak lunch hour. There are also snack shacks that I recommend strategically going to instead, because the lines are much shorter, the service tends to be faster, they're spread around the island so you don't have to go hunt one down, and here's the kicker. They pretty much have the same food plus cookies and brownies. So if you see a snack shack, just go for that. Again, all of these are included free and are all you can eat. Another thing to consider is shade and water. It's important to note that like any other destination, cruise line or otherwise, when it comes to shaded spots, those are the high demand spots. They're gonna fill quickly, and in busy zones like Oasis Lagoon, it's particularly going to be the case where those spots fill up really fast. There are a lot of people that take this very seriously. They get off the ship early. They know exactly where they're going. They go and they get their shaded spot because they want that free shaded spot. For me, I hate that. That's why I personally prefer to just pay for a place like Coco Beach Club. I know I'm going to get a good spot. I can roll in there whenever I want. I don't have to feel like I have to fight for the good spots. So when it comes to the free areas, these things are first come, first serve. It's also helpful to bring a refillable water bottle. And then when it comes to money, you don't have to think much about this because again, everything is charged to your SeaPass card. The great thing about CocoCay, drink packages do work here. Thank you, Royal Caribbean, because other cruise lines like Holland America Line and Carnival do not allow use of the drink package on their private islands, and I think that's absolutely shameful. So Royal Caribbean doesn't do that. They do allow purchasers of the drink package to use it on the island, which is wonderful. Cash is really not needed unless you need it for tips here or there. It's basically a cashless situation, and obviously because of that, there are no ATMs there. I mentioned towels earlier, but as a reminder, grab your towels from the ship. They'll be in your stateroom, bring them with you. And if you need to exchange them, there are exchange stations available at Oasis Lagoon, Thrill Water Park, and Coco Beach Club. Now, here's the deal with the crowds. Obviously, when it's crowded, when you've got two ships in port and they're the big ships, the popular spots like Oasis Lagoon and Chill Island, they're gonna get packed really fast because those are the ones that are the most accessible. Those are the ones that people that are new to CocoCay just go to. And if you want to avoid the crowds, all you got to do is just walk a little further. Go down to one of the other zones, take the tram to South Beach or Cove Beach, for example, if you want to spread out, avoid the crowds, and have more space. Now, sometimes you do have to strategize about advance booking because not everything can be booked the day of. And in particular, if you want to take advantage of these things, the ones that you want to look at advanced booking are Thrill Water Park, Coco Beach Club, and Hideaway Beach. These are the three areas that require paid admission, and sometimes areas are limited. They do sell out, so you want to book them. And if you also want to reserve a private daybed or a cabana at one of the free spots or one of the paid spots, they both have them, do that as well because prices fluctuate. I love Royal Caribbean, but I hate Royal Caribbean pricing and promotions and Royal math. Their prices are always bouncing. It's hard to determine what's actually a good deal or not. But watch the prices. If you catch a good one, you catch an actual promotion, not a fake Royal Caribbean promotion, which they're really bad about putting out, grab it at that price. And then finally, Wi-Fi. Royal Caribbean has Voom internet packages. I also love the fact that they allow use of the Wi-Fi on CocoCay. However, that comes the big caveat. I've been to CocoCay many times. I have never once been able to get my Voom internet service to work even a little bit. So I've always had to switch to data, which with my carrier cost me a little bit extra. It's fine, whatever, or you could just disconnect and not use it for the day. But when you hear that Wi-Fi works on the island, don't count on it because it's been very, very spotty. If I couldn't even call it spotty, it's been pretty non-existent. Now let's talk about the basics that work differently here than other cruise ports. Now when it comes to food, let's talk about what is not included. As I mentioned, the vast majority of food is included, but there are some things that are not included, and these are usually your higher end options. Coco Beach Club is a private access area, and there is the adults only Hideaway Beach area. So they both have upgraded dining with paid admission, and the Coco Beach Club food is very, very upgraded. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Captain Jack's is another option at CocoCay where they offer food at an additional cost with a la carte pricing. And again, the drink package does work here. So if you've purchased the deluxe beverage package or the refreshment package, soft drinks, sodas, alcohol, whatever, your drinks are covered here as well. And they don't tack on, which is nice. So you really don't have to spend a lot or any money here at all. Now that we've talked about paid food options, let's talk about paid attractions. If you see pictures of CocoCay, you'll often see pictured prominently this beautiful rainbow helium balloon. That is an attraction called Up, Up, and Away. It takes guests up to 450 feet in the air, making it the highest publicly accessible viewpoint in the entire Bahamas. So you can get some really great photos from up above. And on a clear day, you can see for miles in every direction, including sweeping views of the Berry Islands and your ship docked in the background. Now, this is a paid experience. Again, prices vary with that dynamic pricing that Royal Caribbean uses. It's going to typically range from $39 to $74 per person, depending on sailing, occupancy, time of year, again, all the weird things that Royal put into their dynamic pricing model. The ride itself is pretty short. It only lasts about 5 to 7 minutes, so whether or not it's worth it for you at that price, that's just completely up to you. Now, when it runs, it is pretty impressive. I was going to take it on my most recent visit there a couple of weeks ago, but I was not able to, and this is a key issue. A lot of cruisers report frustration that the balloon rarely seems to operate. Because it is a tethered balloon and it's highly wind sensitive, even a little bit of a breeze can ground it. When I was there was really hardly any wind at all, and it still got grounded. So that's a very common thing. Wind conditions at CocoCay are unpredictable, and the ride will often shut down without much warning or even advance notice. So if this is high on your list, book it early, but manage your expectations. And I'm kicking myself because it was running in the morning. I should have done that first and then had my beach day, but I didn't, and then it was shut down for the rest of the day. So if you do book it, manage your expectations. It is refundable if it gets shut down, but try to go early rather than later. And there is also a paid zip line that you can access once you get to the arrivals zone. Once you get to the arrivals plaza, it's right there on the right-hand side, and that is also another paid experience that isn't specific to a particular zone. Now, speaking of zones, let's talk about where your day will begin when you step off that long pier on your day at CocoCay. Every cruiser at CocoCay starts at the Arrivals Plaza. This is great because this is kind of that arrival area. It's that central hub. And here you'll find maps, signage, tram stops, and that signature CocoCay photo op that everybody likes to pose with. Now, depending on your plans for the day, you can either head left toward Oasis Lagoon, go kind of straight to Chill Island and the beach areas, or make a right and head over to Hideaway Beach, or kind of go straight in the back to Coco Beach Club. It's pretty easy to get around, but again, look at a map in advance just to get the lay of the land. Trams do run continuously. They're very helpful, especially if you're carrying a lot of beach gear. And if your group decides to split up into different zones, this is a great meeting spot. So make sure you coordinate with your friends and family before you all head out. That Arrivals Plaza is really that natural landmark. Now, parents of littles might find the Arrivals Plaza a great option because it's not just that central welcoming hub, but it is home also to not just one, but 2 free water attractions perfect for younger kids. Captain Jill's Galleon is a private ship loaded with slides. There's water cannons and interactive water features. And there's also Splashaway Bay, which is a full aqua park with water slides for little kids, fountains, pools, and a massive drench buckets. This is one of the island's biggest free attractions and offers tons of entertainment for families with kids of all ages, but it is really kind of geared toward younger cruisers. Now, both attractions are included in your cruise fare, unlike the Thrill Water Park, which I'll tell you about in a moment. You don't have to make advanced reservations, you don't have to buy tickets or anything like that. If you do want a more impressive thrill park experience, that is where you're going to go to Thrill Water Park. This is the dedicated paid water park area at CocoCay. It is not included in your cruise fare, but it is pretty impressive. It is a full-fledged water park. It's not 1 or 2 slides, it's a water park. There's no beach here though, so if you want a beach day, you're not going to find it here. But admission grants you access to all the slides, the pools, the splash zones, everything that's in the water park. Again, prices here fluctuate with that dynamic pricing. Usually it ranges from $49 to $149 a person, so the pricing can be wildly varied. So watch pricing and try to snag a good price. And if you do find a better price, reprice it later because Royal does allow that. Children under 4 here are admitted free, which is nice if you're cruising with people of all different ages. And this is where you'll find Daredevil's Peak, which is the tallest water slide in North America. It's huge, 135 feet. The park includes 2 towers, Daredevil's Tower and Splash Summit, along with the largest wave pool in the Caribbean and the Adventure Pool obstacle course. Rides here include 2 drop slides, Dueling Demons, and multi-rider raft slides like Slingshot and Splash Speedway. There's also a dedicated snack shack here in terms of food, and that serves complimentary burgers, chicken, sandwiches, salads, cookies, and a bunch of other stuff. And there also are 2 bars here as well. If you don't want to ride all the rides all day, they do have loungers and umbrellas that are free, first come, first serve, and available throughout the water park. Now, here's the catch that I mentioned at the beginning when it comes to Thrill Water Park. People always want to know, is it worth the cost of admission to go to Thrill Water Park, especially with that dynamic pricing if the pricing is pretty high? It is important to note that Thrill Water Park does not always run at full capacity. And what I mean by that is not all the rides are always running, even on sunny days. The tallest slides like Daredevil's Peak and Dueling Demons and also Screeching Serpent, it's not uncommon for them to shut down when it's windy, just like the balloon ride Up, Up and Away. They will shut it down if it's windy, and not even super windy. Even a little moderate breeze can shut it down. And it happens more often than you might think. Now, the good news is it is potentially, partially, sometimes fully refundable. But Royal's refund policy only kicks in if the whole water park is mostly closed. So if it's open for more than 4 hours, even with rides down, they won't give you anything back. And that's frustrating if you paid top dollar with the intention of being there all day and you can't ride what you came for. If Thrill Water Park is the reason you chose this itinerary, it is smart to book early, again, watch the dynamic pricing, manage your expectations, and arrive early. Same thing with the Up, Up and Away. Go get those rides in, because if the wind conditions shut them down, at least you've gotten them in for the day. Now let's talk about the free zones, starting with one of the most popular free zones on the island, which is Oasis Lagoon. When you get to Arrivals Plaza off the pier, just make a little left and follow the main path inland. It is a pretty short walk, but there is also a tram stop right at the edge of the pool area if you have mobility issues. This is one of the most popular spots at CocoCay because of its location, and it gets busy early. Oasis Lagoon is a massive freshwater pool. They have 3 separate swim-up islands, an in-water bar. They have that sloped zero entry section, so you don't have that dramatic drop off, which is great if you have little kids. And if you want loungers near the water, especially multiple side-by-side chairs, plan to get here early, because again, spots fill up quickly, those shaded spots fill up quickly, and it can sometimes be hard to get multiple chairs side by side. They also have a huge open area with music. There are shallow lounging spots if you just want to sunbathe, and there is plenty of space to float around. Now, that being said, this is not your quiet spot. Here you're going to expect music, chatter, and splashing, and a lot of groups kind of treating it like a party zone. So if that's your vibe, this is a great spot, but if you want a chill area, that's not it. In terms of food, there's a snack shack right there serving complimentary burgers, chicken sandwiches, hot dogs, and cookies. The food's pretty much the same, again, in these snack shacks across the island. And Oasis Lagoon is a great choice for groups that want to lounge, drink, have a little fun, be a little loud, and be near the action without committing to a full beach day experience. So this is kind of that pool experience. Now, if you want a classic beach vibe, from Arrivals Plaza, head straight past that tram circle and continue along the main path toward the beach to get to Chill Island. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk, depending on how far back you go. Now, this is the beach zone that a lot of people have in mind when they think of a relaxing beach day. It's classic, it's low key, the sand is soft, the water's pretty calm, it's beautiful, it's turquoise, there's rows of complimentary umbrellas and chairs, and you don't have to make a reservation for any of it. But again, the earlier you get there, the better the spot you're gonna get, and the more likely you're gonna have chairs together if you have a big group with you. The water here does remain shallow for a good bit out, making it ideal for casual swimmers or people that just kind of like to bop around and float in the ocean. In terms of food, not surprisingly, there's also a snack shack here, same menu as the others, burgers, chicken sandwiches, stuff like that, cookies, brownies, and there are bars as well. Now, there are private cabanas and day beds here available for rent, just like they are in pretty much all of the zones. And they also have snorkel rentals and a floating mat station if you want to rent those as well. Now, there's another part of Chill Island called Breezy Bay at Chill Island. This area is a little bit more relaxed than the main Chill Island stretch. It's designed for cruisers who want something a little bit more private, but without having to pay for Coco Beach Club access. The main feature here is the row of day beds that are available, of course, for rent. These aren't cabanas, so they come at a much lower price point. Those cabanas are expensive, but they do offer shaded comfort. You don't have to clamor for them. You rent it, you have one, you don't have to fight for one. And again, compared to the cabanas, they're a bargain. Now, when it comes to zone, let me tell you about one that completely changed how I think about CocoCay. In all my past experience, I've gone to the free zones because I ball on a budget. I can be cheap a lot of times. I don't want to spend money. I like private islands because they're a free beach day. But on my last visit there, it was just me and my guys, so we decided to splurge on Coco Beach Club. It's a little bit of a cost, but I think it's worth every penny. And again, I'm not gonna tell you price because it's dynamic, it changes. Now, Coco Beach Club is a little further back. It is about a 10-minute walk from the Arrivals Plaza. It's kind of the farther back part of the island. Now, this is your high-end, bougie side of CocoCay. Access here does require that separate admission fee. You'll get a wristband. They'll verify that you've paid before you come, and it is a paradise. The fee includes access to the beach, an oceanfront infinity pool, access to a private restaurant, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and upgraded amenities like cushioned loungers and towel service. So if you pay for admission at CocoCay, you do not have to bring your towels from the ship. They are provided to you, and they're a little bit of a nicer, plusher towel. They're a different color than the standard Royal Caribbean towels as well. Now, the shining star here is the food. It's a big step up. Instead of burgers, chicken sandwiches, cookies, and brownies, you get a full-fledged sit-down meal in this kind of indoor-outdoor restaurant. And the shining star on the menu is their surf and turf, filet and lobster. Now, I like the turf. I don't like the surf, so I just got the filet. It was a nice big portion. It was delicious. And it's all served in that shaded, open-air kind of dining space, so it keeps it nice and cool. And when you dine here, you get a choice of an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. And all the food we had was really good. Now, a big draw here for people that do like to throw some cash around is their row of overwater cabanas, which are the first of its kind in the Bahamas. Now, these are expensive. I mean, an eye-watering price, but they're pretty cool. They come with loungers, overwater hammocks. They have their own private slides into the ocean, a stocked fridge, a personal attendant. But again, they're really expensive, sometimes over $1,000 a day, sometimes $1,600 bucks. I think that's outrageous. I would never pay for that. But if you've got the budget and the willingness to pay it, you do you. That's awesome because they look really cool. Now for me, I just used the basic area of Coco Beach Club, which I thought was pretty awesome. It's quiet. It's not adults only, but it's adult friendly. There were not a lot of kids here, but there were some, and the kids were generally pretty quiet and well behaved. So this is a quiet, more relaxed area than some of the other spots at CocoCay. And the other thing I like about Coco Beach Club is you don't have to pick between a beach day and a pool day, like some of the other zones. Now, of course, you can go to one beach zone and go to a pool zone, but you got to pick up your stuff and move. What I love about Coco Beach Club is that from my lounger, we could spend some time in the ocean, which we did, have lunch, spend some time in the pool, which we did, spend some more time in the ocean. So it's all there, easily accessible, and it's all at a high level of service. It's really great. I have to admit, I'm a little spoiled on Coco Beach Club. It's going to be tough for me to go back to the free zones. So if you're coming to CocoCay, I do highly recommend this one. Now, if you want adults only, and you want more of a party vibe, the best option probably for you is Hideaway Beach. This is the newest addition to CocoCay and is the island's first true adults only area. At the Arrivals Plaza, you'll make a right, you'll follow the signs. It's pretty far back there, but it's still a reasonable walk, and the tram does visit there as well, just like it does every other zone at CocoCay. This is a paid access zone, and admission gives you access to the main beachfront. So this is nice. It's also beach and pool, just like Coco Beach Club. But you get access to the main beachfront. There's an infinity pool, a swim-up bar, in-water hammocks, shaded loungers. And the distinction here, again, adults only, but it's a high-energy party vibe. They have a DJ playing tunes. People are having a good time. They're drinking. It's a good time. Food is included and served at the Hideaway Hut and Slice of Paradise. So you're gonna find a little bit more of expanded food options here. You're gonna find not just burgers, chicken sandwiches, brownies, and cookies, but also things like funnel cakes, wings, pizza, and other things that are exclusive to this area. The bar scene here is strong, so if you're not into drinking and you're not into kind of that party vibe, you might not like it here unless you splurge for a private cabana. There are two main bars and lots of signature drinks that are just flowing all day. It's loud, it's social, it's built for cruisers that like to drink, dance, float in the pool without any kids around. But I know a lot of folks that like that kind of thing, and they absolutely love Hideaway Beach. Now let's talk about a complete departure from that very different zone, which is South Beach. To reach South Beach from the Arrivals Plaza, you're gonna make a right and you're gonna follow the signs along the main path. Now this one's pretty far away. It's about a 12-minute walk, so a lot of cruisers will take the tram. This is the activity-focused stretch of CocoCay. So you're gonna have energy, you're gonna have activity here, but not so much the drinking and floating in the pool kind of vibe and loud music. Here you'll find emphasis on games, sports, and social energy. They have basketball courts, volleyball courts, cornhole, and they have lots of space to stay active on the beach. So if you're not the kick back and listen to your AirPods, read a book, but you want to play volleyball, this is a good spot for you. Food and drinks are easy here to grab. There's snack shacks, there's multiple bars along the beachfront. And the standout here is the floating bar. It's out in the ocean. You actually swim out for cocktails in the water. A lot of cruisers really like it. Now, if you want convenience, which is the case often if you're cruising with young kids or a big group or people with mobility issues, a great option is Harbor Beach. This is the closest beach option at CocoCay. This is the one that I visited on my first visit because it was the first beach I saw. It looked good, it was good, so I camped out there and I had a good time. It's only about a 5-minute walk slightly to the left, and the beach here wraps around Harbor Lagoon, and it has calm, shallow water and plenty of those free loungers and umbrellas, although again, those shaded spots, they do go quickly. Because Harbor Beach is so centrally located and easily accessible, and it's the first thing people see, it does tend to feel more crowded than Chill Island or South Beach. And then finally, here's that remote zone that I mentioned at the very beginning that a lot of cruisers overlook here because it is kind of far away, and that is Cove Beach. It is the most remote beach at CocoCay. From the arrivals plaza, make a right, follow the main path past South Beach until you reach the end of the island. It's about a 14-minute walk, one of the longest on the island, although, of course, the tram also stops here. The beach here is designed for cruisers who want the quietest beach day experience. It's a trek, but the benefit of Coco Beach is that it is tucked away. You're not going to find the big crowds here. You're not going to find the loud party vibe here. It's very relaxing, but it's also pretty rustic. You're not going to find as many of the amenities here that you will in the other zones. Now, I've talked about the food options throughout this video, but let me talk specifically about it. You have complimentary dining, and that's available throughout the island at places like Skipper's Grill, Chill Grill, and all of those snack shacks. There's snack shacks everywhere. Pretty much every zone has easy access to a snack shack. Skipper's Grill sits right by Harbor Beach, and again, that's usually the most crowded beach area because of its location. Here you'll find classic island barbecue with things like burgers, hot dogs, chicken, fresh salads, tacos, and desserts. It's all served cafeteria style, it's free, it's all you can eat, there's no card swipe required, but the downside is, of course, it does get pretty crowded, especially around noon. Chill Grill is another large dining spot that's popular of visitors at CocoCay, located obviously near Chill Island. It's basically the same menu as Skipper's Grill, but it has the advantage of being closer to those beach zones. So if you're over at Chill Grill, you don't have to trek all the way over to the other spot. You can eat there instead. It's nice and convenient. And again, those snack shacks, the food is free. They're scattered all over the island. And a lot of times, a lot of the menu items is pretty similar to the big grills, but you don't have those big cafeteria style lines. And sometimes they even have some extras. When it comes to food at CocoCay, many cruisers rave about the Shack Burger as being the best food of all the free options on the island. So if you visit, you might want to check that out. Captain Jack's is the one a la carte menu at CocoCay. It's located near that arrivals plaza, and here you'll find wings, fries, drinks, stuff like that. And food here is not included. It's all an extra cost. You'll just swipe your CPass card. If you visit Coco Beach Club, you'll get access to its private restaurant, which I talked about in that section, which is part of the admission fee. You'll find that surf and turf or just filet or just lobster and other things as well. They do have a kids menu for folks that have kids or they're pickier eaters. And your included lunch is at that sit-down full-serve restaurant. You get the starter, the entree, and the dessert. If you're visiting Hideaway Beach, requires admission. You get all the free stuff, but you also do get some exclusive food options just for guests of Hideaway Beach as well. When it comes to drinks and bars are absolutely everywhere at CocoCay. If you did purchase the drink package, it works on the island, which is again a nice perk. If you did not purchase the drink package, you can buy your drinks a la carte just using your CPass card individually. And unlike other cruise line private islands, again, Carnival, Celebration Key, Upimio, prices here are the same as on board. They don't upcharge the drinks here compared to the prices on the ship. So when it comes to having the perfect day at CocoCay, it's all about strategy and not a lot of planning or overthinking. You can roll off the ship, bop around, have a good time no matter where you land. But if you think a little bit in advance about what you want, pool versus beach, turn up fun versus chill, paid versus free, look at all the options, consider the things I talked about in this video, pick the best spot for you, know where you're going, you will absolutely have the perfect day at CocoCay.